What's going on today, guys? Let's get a look at the mystery knife. What could it be? What? Microtech? I know. Kind of caught me off guard as well. Any guesses? Here's your last chance. Here we go. Microtech Stitch. This is the Borka Bladeworks collaboration. Any guesses to why I might be really drawn to this knife, even if it is slightly illegal for me to carry? I think you're looking at it, right? This reminds me so much of the Strider SNG, but more of a aggressive, if you can say, like profile, and it's a little larger. So some first impressions on the Microtech Stitch here. I can't really do a review. I've only owned this knife about 24 hours now. You can see I've cut a few things with it, but not too much. So that's the first thing. M390. And then I seen the same profile that I am really drawn to. Now, on paper, it doesn't make any sense at all. All these long handles, small blades. I know why they work so well for me, because I tend to do a lot of these cuts like this, like a reverse pull cut straps or whatever at work. And I don't know, I even cut cardboard sometimes like this. You know, you hold the cardboard in your hand and pull it through. It just seems to give me more leverage. It extends this all the way out to my palm. So I've already said that a bunch of times. And I know a lot of you guys feel the same way, because another very popular knife, and has been for many years now, is the Paramilitary 2. Kind of the same proportions here. You have your long handle, a little bit of blade. Now you can see that personally, as much as I'm in the honeymoon phase with this knife, I don't think it's going to be like a main superstar of my lineup. For one, it's automatic. It's going to be risky for me to carry it. For two, it's a little heavier than I thought. Right around 6.3 ounces or so. I didn't think that was very heavy, but when you actually get it in your pocket and you actually carry it and use it, it's a hefty knife, and it's thick all the way around. Check out the blade thickness there. Now, I don't have any specs on it or anything, but you can see how built this thing is. Now, it doesn't have a thick tip, so you're still not going to want to do much prying with it, but it's a very sturdy and stout knife. And it has geometry to cut. It cuts really well. I will have to reprofile the edge, but it is thin behind the edge. And that M390 should be a really nice blade steel, right? It'll be interesting to see how their heat treat stacks up against Benchmade's heat treat. And while we're at it, here's some size comparisons. I don't know. I like the profile of the knife. I love the customs from Borka Bladeworks, but they are way out of my budget. They are like, they start, I don't know, on the aftermarket, they can go up to multiple thousands of dollars. There's a small Sebenza. There's your Manix. So I know the Manix has a pretty big fan base. You can see this Stitch is a lot larger than that. About the same cutting edge, maybe a little more. What I liked about the Stitch is this almost modified Wharncliffe blade here. It's a little less belly than, say, my beloved SNG right here. Not that I don't like belly, but there's something really nice about a Wharncliffe style blade. And it's one of the reasons the Delica, I don't have one next to me here, is such a big hit. The Insingo blade style, you know what I mean? Almost a Wharncliffe with a slight belly. I think it's going to be a winner of a knife, but it is a little chunky, if that's the word I could use. So there it is next to the Spyderco Bowie. I don't see myself, after I'm out of the honeymoon phase, oh, dropped the wrench. After I'm out of the honeymoon phase to like be carrying this more so than this. Does that make sense? Look how skinny this is in your pocket. And then look at this guy. Look how well this would cut versus this. Now this is good, but it's not going to be like this. You know what I mean? You just see how it's wide here. Now I'm saying it's wide. It's wide when it's closed. We've got the Manix here. A lot of people complain that they love the Spyderco Manix, but it's just a little too wide. I've also heard that about the SNG. So you can see it's a little wider than both of these, I believe. See that? A little wider, almost all the way around. Not by much, but it's still a complaint. The thing, you know, I'm okay with a wide knife like this, but every single day they're fun to carry. I don't know. If I had to recommend like an EDC knife to somebody, it probably wouldn't be a Manix because of how wide it is. And again, it probably wouldn't be this, not just because of the auto. It's just really wide. And for no other real reason than style and I guess overbuilt beefiness. But I'm okay with that. I have so many practical knives that every now and then it's fun to get something that is just fun. And also it seems like a great tool. We'll see when I actually do the real review. But walking around this knife, the machining is done really well. I like how they have the texture here and then left it flat here. I love this Chris Reeve style bump in the clip. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sure you do. But here's a Chris Reeve 25 clip. See, so this slides over the pant and then over. It just kind of has a second point of retention there. It's a lot harder to lose a knife like this with the clip like that. I like that it's a stamped clip. There's not many milled clips that I found work good for me, so I prefer a stamped clip. Now it is, you would think for about $370 that would be titanium, but it is magnetic, so it has to be some sort of stainless steel. This backspacer is not magnetic. It could possibly be aluminum or it could be titanium. I'm hoping it's titanium, but who knows. And then the handle's aluminum. Now you are getting the M390 on this. I feel like the knife was worth it, but again, it's not cheap. And then also you're paying for the collaboration. So, I don't know, it just is what it is. The ergonomics on it, outstanding. Really nice. They remind me of the SNG, but possibly, again, this is not the review, possibly a little bit better. I know. So you see how this behind the choil right here, and then choked up on the choil. Now when you really, if you wanted to really like get into something, the harpoon here rests right on your thumb. What a awesome design right here. And it looks incredible. Now the only thing that's going to be, maybe not the only thing, but one of the things that's going to be a little bit weird for me is normally in use, and again, this is not a review, more of an overview. In use, I'd rather see the point in like the center line with, now when you're in the choil here like this, the point is within the center line of the knife. I don't know if you can, if this is making sense. You can almost draw an invisible line up through here to the center of your hand, so you're real predictable where you put your point. Now when you come back to this position, that point is dropped way down, which is good, I guess, for chopping or for slicing. When I cut the shrink wrap off my pallets in the morning, you know, stuff like that. It's gonna have pluses and minuses. You know, there are some knives that are down like this. You don't hit your knuckles on the thing, whatever you're cutting. But anyways, we'll see how that shakes out in the actual review. That's the Microtech stitch. It does seem incredibly well made. You can see they have jimping under here. It does have a chamfer around the jimping there, the choil. Same thing around here. The machining on this knife is incredible. I like that, and maybe this is standard, and I'm not too familiar with these plunge lock, button lock, piston lock, whatever they are, automatics. Maybe this is standard, but look how they even accounted for wear. See how this is ramped this way and this is ramped that way. This is a fairly simple mechanism, and one day we will take this knife apart, but there's a coil spring around here with one prong into the blade, and then the other prong is into the scale. So this knife is constantly under tension, right? And when you press that button, piston, whatever, is when it releases the blade, it flies out, and then it catches back in that groove. Now you can see how that groove right there is ramped to allow for wear, so that piston can walk over and over and over and you'll still have tight lockup. Does that make sense? And then to keep this piston under tension, there is a spring, like a coil spring, that comes here underneath. There's a pocket under here, and then that's what pushes the button out. It's a fairly simple mechanism once you understand what's going on. I'm sure it wasn't simple to figure out or simple to engineer well, but once all that's figured out, it's a simple knife to take down. And I also, one of the main selling points, believe it or not, was that how much Microtech likes to use their proprietary hardware. I can't hold this knife without doing that a few times. I do like that. Now this is super illegal. I mean, a dagger out the front. I don't carry that out and about. And again, I will be taking a risk with this. But getting back to the hardware, you can see this is all Torx construction. So well done. Good clip placement. This is right in the center of the handle. There's no sharp spots on there. It has a flat here so it doesn't dig into your palm. Sometimes that's the difference. Well-made clips, man. There's a lot of clips on the market, not a lot do it right. But you can see the flat spot there. Now we can talk about clip placement, which I did on the 25, and they changed it on the large and Cosi, which is real close to the 25. But I don't know how practical the automatic is going to be for real world use, you know, even if it was legal. We'll see. I don't normally like even assisted knives, so. But I did figure out a way to close this one-handed. You just kind of depress the button, kick the top down, and now they're still under tension, but it's not enough tension where it will snap back into place at this position, and then you just close it. So let me do that a few times. Now the other way I found that I could do it is once it's open, I can push the button down and then you press it on your leg and close it and then put it in your pocket. That's a little more dangerous because you're moving a knife blade around your leg, but you know what I mean. Sometimes in a pinch I'll do it that way too, and it's only been about 24 hours. So we'll see what I actually favor, and maybe the automatic is just not going to be my thing. I've never really tried to carry a side swinging automatic like this. I've carried a dual action, I think it was a Microtech and Greg Lightfoot. I forgot what it was, but you could always open it like this or close it manually, or you could kick the bolster. I think it was up this way. There's a bolster on the knife and you could just press the bolster and the bolster would rock up and then the blade would come out automatic, and then you wind it back down with the coil spring. But any other time, it never looked like an automatic. You could still use it with the thumb. It would be really nice to see Microtech do this knife in a titanium frame lock. But we'll see. Maybe that cuts into Sebastian's over there at Borka Blade Works custom line, and maybe he doesn't want to water down his brand like that. I don't know. But I'm hoping that we do see it and it becomes more affordable. So there it is. That is the Microtech Stitch. First impressions, not a review. But it does seem like a really well-made knife. You see how the blade's nice and centered there. I like that that accounts for wear. I like the texture here on the handle, but then they did not texture underneath the clip. We have seen a lot of knives where it'll chew up your pocket. Well-made clip, good placement. There's not much to complain about, but personally for me, it does seem a little bit more heavy. I didn't think 6 ounces was going to be quite this heavy, but I guess I've been carrying lighter knives. And then also the width here, the chunk in your pocket here. Now I'm making a deal out of it, but understand what kind of knives I normally carry. So this would be like a Para too. You see how much thicker that is. This Spyderco Bowie. So you can see how much thicker it is all the way around. Even my CC Strider, you can see how much thicker it is. Does that make sense? Now, I say it's not completely ridiculous because a lot of people think that the large 21 inlays are like the perfect pocket knife. I'd have to agree with you. I mean, just because one's perfect doesn't mean the other one can't be perfect. But there's almost nothing that I would change on a large 21 inlay. And you can see, when you account for the inlays here, they're right around the same thickness. So Definitely not the blade stock, but I'm saying this in your pocket here is about the same thickness as here. So, you know, don't think I'm making too much of a big deal out of it. It's just something that I noticed. Just understand what I've been carrying, you know, smaller knives. Well, they're all here. Let's go ahead and put some against it. I know this is a long first impressions, but it's been a while since I've made a video. I do have a few ready to upload and put thumbnails on, but we had some friends had an unexpected death, and we've been having, we didn't have to, but we helped a little bit with their children and stuff. Yeah, life's too short. You have to enjoy your life. You really do. And also, as much as my channel is about things and getting new things and stuff like that, life is not about things. I haven't been to one funeral where they mentioned what kind of car collection, motorcycle collection, or whatever. You know what I mean? It's fun. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot of fun. There's a large 25. Here's a small Hinderer. Maybe we should put it there. If anybody's collecting Microtechs and you do have an Ultratech, there you go. Well, we have them here. Let's go ahead. This is a small Wilkins Griptilian. Here's a large Wilkins Griptilian. So you can see it's a large knife. It's not overly large, but it's definitely a little bit larger than I'm used to carrying. It does have a very wide blade. It's wide in your pocket both ways, this way, and when it's closed this way. So it's not going to be for everybody. Please check your local laws if you're planning on picking one of these stitches up. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I gotta go pick up all these open knives here and have to upload this. And again, if I didn't say that, that's the apocalyptic finish. It looks like a light acid wash with a heavy stone wash. I wish they didn't billboard all this stuff. You know, it's kind of nice to know it's M390, but why not like hide it on the back somewhere? And then we know it's a Microtech. You already let us know on the pocket clip and all that garbage. Just stop. There's the serial number, I guess, and then the date. So this is like June 4th, 2017. This was made about a month ago. So there it is. Kicks like a mule. I let my oldest son, who's 12 years old, do this, and he was more like this, and it did almost click out of his hand like that. So Mama wasn't too happy with me. But you have to hold on to it for real and then fire that button. But because it does fire so hard, that's a spring. You have to load it up, so it's not easy to close. And the button's not easy to press either. It's hard to accidentally press it. You have to really, you see how white my thumb is? You have to really put some pressure on it. So it doesn't have a safety or anything, but I'm not worried about it firing in my pocket. There it is. Microtech stitch. Let's get out of here. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, especially 20 minutes on a first impressions. That's it, guys. Appreciate you. See ya.